Welcome to Ninerology. I'm your host, Alan, and we are 9 days away from training camp. That's right, 9 days away, and where finally the players get to come back from the off-season workouts, the things that they've been working on. You got rookies that are coming back in, the vets that are coming back in, several people trying to make the roster, and it is back. Football is back, baby, and we want to start off by talking about the 49ers defensive line. Notoriously, for the past several years, the 49ers identity has always been the defense. You look at the linebackers, historically, the 49ers have had great linebackers. And the defensive line, they've kind of built from there on the way back. And as they kind of keep that defensive line fresh, you begin to see the fruit in the backfield. And so let's take a look historically. You've had guys like DeForest Buckner, Arik Armstead, D Ford, and Nick Bosa. That was one of the historically great defensive lines the 49ers had under Kyle Shanahan. And as more players their contracts came up, you can't keep everybody. You look at this past year, losing Arik Armstead just because that's where the salary was, and honestly, with how often he was on the field or games missed, didn't really equal how much the 49ers were paying. There was a lot of turnover this offseason. You look at Randy Gregory, he's gone. He was a free agent pickup this past year. Chase Young, gone, free agent pickup. Clelin Ferrell, gone, who was a great run defender on that outside. Arik Armstead, gone. And so the 49ers had some big pickups, not big pickups, but they had one notable name and a few other no names. Maybe some people knew about him or looked him up later. Leonard Floyd, you had Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott, and your Gross Matos. And I think what the 49ers here are doing they're really putting a lot of pressure on the defensive line coach, Chris Kasarik. And honestly, I think the best case scenario, they're hoping to find some diamonds in the rough there because they know they have to start paying a lot of other players on the offense, and they're hoping that that identity for the 49ers, which is historically ridden the back on the 49ers defense, will start riding that 49ers offense where you can find a little bit more even balance. And you hope that some of these guys they picked up, like a Malik Collins, a Jordan Elliott, will kind of start forming into kind of an image of a DJ Jones. You look at, historically, they've always had kind of these one-year free agent pickups from your Chris Omenahus to the Kerry Hyders to the Clelin Ferrells that really just kind of have almost a great contract year and end up getting paid somewhere else. I think best case scenario for the 49ers is that your Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott, and your Gross Matos have those type of years and that you just get a lot of value from these 1 year guys, 2 year guys. Now, a couple of them got 2 year deals, but ultimately it's a 1 year contract. Can you make it in this system? Can you take the pressure off of Nick Bosa? The reality is Nick Bosa also needs to step up. You look at the Super Bowl and how Andy Reid attacks him. Several times Nick Bosa has just been caught kind of blitzing through the middle, and instead of keeping that outside contained, that's an area he can grow. You look at overall in the defense. In 2022, the 49ers had the number 2 ranked run defense across the board. You look at this past year, that dropped all the way to number 26. And you can count that up to injuries. You can count that up to Javon Hargrave not living up to his contract either. He even mentioned he was out of shape. And so a lot more needs to come production-wise from Javon Hargrave and Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is now the second highest paid non-quarterback after Justin Jefferson's deal. And so he needs to live up to that. Yes, anytime you're in a contract year, you typically see a little fall off because of all of the things that happen mentally. You look at Brandon Ayuk in the conversation, how that's weighing on him. Deebo Samuel mentioned those contract negotiations weighed on him. Javon Hargrave, kind of that same thing. He mentioned how he was out of shape coming off. Even though he got paid, he was out of shape coming into training camp. And so who knows what's going to happen this year now that Nick Bosa is not in his contract year. He got paid last year. He kind of skipped all of training camp, wasn't in football shape, but he ended up coming to form later in the year. Is he going to show up this year and take that next step? Being the highest paid defensive player that's a non-quarterback, he needs to show up. Javon Hargrave, you need to live up to that contract. And hopefully some of these other guys step up because number 26 run defense is not going to cut it because eventually people are going to start challenging the 49ers. All right, we're not going to throw on you, but you know what we will do? We're going to run it down your throat. So Chris Kasarik, you got your work cut out for you, and hopefully these pickups, Chris Kasarik will continue to be able to live up to the legacy that he has, and that's bringing out the best in those defensive line players. And so here's the hoping. Malik Collins, you have a career year. Leonard Floyd, your career continues going where you continue that double-digit sack kind of precedents that you've set. Jordan Elliott, that you step up there. Gross Matos, that you go ahead and lock down the opposite side of Nick Bosa and really set that edge. That's really what we need, is somebody who can set the edge as a run defender. We hope that was Chase Young, but you know what? He just didn't have the drive or motor, which you think he would have because it was a contract year. So hopefully some of these other guys, we can pull out the best in them, and they can help us reshape that 49ers defensive line and work our way back to getting that 6th Lombardi trophy. Well, that's all we have. And again, 9 days until training camp. Hopefully we get these guys set up for success. But that's all we have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Ninerology.